Hi. Hi. Hi, Tiffany C. I'm ranting on Instagram right now. So give me a second. Hi. Let me take off all the things. Let me take off all the things. I'm a little early. Actually, I'm very early. Listen, I'm working Monday through Friday now. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to give y'all a show on Mondays. I think I'm gonna have to switch it to Sundays. I think I'm gonna have to just watch the Discovery Plus one early in the morning on Sunday and then just go live on Sunday. This is where we are. But you won't break my soul. Okay, I'm just let everybody come into the rule. Oh, a Liverpool lass. Hello from the UK. Hello. I have to watch the UK version. Are you guys watching the UK version? Tiffany, Aisha, Camille, Kirby, Christelle, Quasi. It was wow. That was a lot of C's. Camille, Kirby, Christelle, Quasi. Quasi is not a C, but it has this thing in my voice. Hi, Mickey. Okay. Oh, Kyrie, Kyrie, hello, Crystal. Oh my God, all in a row. Let's do that again. We have Camille, Kirby, Christelle, Quasi, Kyrie, Crystal, Antoinette, and then Co. Hi, Liverpool lass. So many questions, so many thoughts. I'm awake right now. If you guys were with me last night, you saw a tie-red wah, okay? And Chris had to hold it down for me because I came thinking I was ready and I weren't. I weren't. I hope you guys watched the show. And I hope that you guys are also watching the UK because if you are getting 90 Day Fiancé US, which is crazy that we now get to say that 90 Day Fiancé US, because I hear there's a 90 Day Fiancé France. Did I make that up? I might have made that up, but I thought there was another franchise coming out. But anyways, you guys should really watch UK because it is quite refreshing. It is nice to see a different type of produced program from Matt Sharp / TLC. Don't know who decided to do what. But the first episode was 2 hours, and it was 2 hours of stellar content. Now, those of you who are not used to watching British TV might have to put the subtitles on because there's some accents. There's some northern sounds happening, okay? From the north. I watch a lot of like British period pieces, and there's a show called North South. And yeah, some of these folks are from the north. Or if you watched season 1 of Downton Abbey, several people have the same accent of the woman who was the lady of the house. I don't know her name. Maybe starts with a C. The American woman from Downton Abbey, Lady Grantham. I don't know. Not Maggie Smith, the younger one who was married to the man, the Duke. Her lady's maid has that accent. She's from the north too. Alrighty. Anyways, hello everyone. Camille, thanks for watching my reviews of it. Yeah. It's on Discovery Plus. I know everybody's holding out to purchase Discovery Plus. In fact, I don't even pay for my Discovery Plus. I think Chris does. It's Chris's, and I don't think it is. Is Chris pays for Discovery Plus? Depending on your obsession with 90 Day Fiancé and all of its franchises, you might consider just doing it. I know there's so many streaming services out there. In fact, I have to get Peacock, and I think I'm going to get Peacock soon and then share it with Chris, and she's giving me 90 Day Fiancé. I mean, Discovery Plus. Quasi says, feels like the poor guy sending money gives me Danielle vibes. You know what? I'm not going to judge the situation. I'm gonna let Sean give Christine money. I just want to see how it works out. He is so adamant about everyone getting out of his business. I said, I'm gonna get out your business, Sean. I said, I'm gonna get out your business. I will. Okay. So I don't expect a lot of people to be in this. So we're going to get started very soon because I don't think a lot of people have seen the show. But let's have a good time. I didn't take any notes, so this is all off the cuff. Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated. Welcome to my recap of a 90 Day Fiancé, Season 9, Episode 16. Can you believe it? Episode 16, Here Comes the Pride. My name is Wah, and I do recaps of relationship reality TV shows such as 90 Day Fiancé, Love After Lockup, Married at First Sight, all of those shows. So if you are at all interested in that content, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to share on any social media platform that you deem fit. For those of you who have been under a rock for the last week, my good friend Chris Farah and I dropped a podcast called DocuSweeties, and we are currently recapping Love in Paradise as well as Love After Lockup. The Love After Lockup episode should be up Tuesday or Wednesday this week. So please look out for that. And if you are longtime fans of us and you would like to truly support our podcast, please consider joining our Patreon, and that is at patreon.com/DocuSweeties. I want to thank everybody that's in the room right now, and those of you who are #replay gang, thank you so much for coming back. And y'all are wonderful. Okay, let's jump right into this show. I'm going to put all the necessaries at the bottom of the screen, just in case you want to give me a little tip, just in case you want to give me a little tippy tip, you can do so. No pressure, no shade. Wow, you guys, how many of you guys feel good about a 17 or 18 week season? I just want to know who feels good about it. Who feels like we needed that long? Who feels like some of them episodes were unnecessary? Hi, Lynn J. I haven't seen you in a long time. AK says, did you hear about Eve's son? I did not. When did that break? Tell us right now, AK. Tell us right now what happened. If you want to email me, you can at justcallmewa@gmail.com. Or put it in Vanity Fair. Let me text Chris. Listen, amigo, I don't know how to get to Vanity Fair. Like, how do I even get on Facebook? Okay. Mickey, do you know what this person's talking about? Mickey, do you know this person's talking about? Are you in Vanity Fair? I'm gonna try to go to Vanity Fair, right? Because that's where that's all where the juice is Vanity Fair. I never go into the Vanity Fair group. Okay. I see our DocuSweeties. Oh, I see it now. Betsy put it up for Betsy from Vanity Fair put it up 4 hours ago, and we missed it. Okay, here we go. She says, I didn't get the best news on Friday. I'm finding it difficult to still talk about. Although, as always, this is from Eve. As always, I will keep fighting to extend his life, and hopefully he won't have to have a transplant in the near future. Theron has stage 2 kidney disease. This is why I always want him to have amazing experience, because when he was younger, I really didn't know how much time I would have with him. It took forever to get his lab report, and I finally got it, and his GFR is the lowest it's ever been, and he went from 70 to 6.1. He is in the middle of puberty, which is a huge strain on his kidneys. I'm adding in some higher doses of Irish moth and back to reflexology every night with essential oils and standard processed pharmaceutical grade supplements. These are quite phenomenal. I was doing Reiki every night, so now he'll have both Reiki and reflexology, stem cell patches, and sound healing. He consumes multiple foods a day that are beneficial to his kidneys, so we will keep on it. I'm going to change a 9-month follow-up to 6 months. I do not feel comfortable waiting 9 months. We got through the first 3.5 years of puberty very well. Although this is the lowest his filtration rate and the highest his creatine have been. He's been on an organic diet since 15 months. He got exposed to COVID 10 times at school, and both Muhammad and I had it. Theron never got it. So he has a stellar immune system. I will never give up. He means everything to me, but I can't say I'm not scared and worried. I'm still trying to process these results and still don't have the radiology support. I will fight this disease with everything I've got. I'm looking at the ultrasound. Initially, they thought he was stable, but this is the most difficult. This is the most significant change I've seen. He's growing well, though, so I hope to be able to strengthen and get some better labs in 6 months. Please keep him in your prayer. I know that they are powerful, no doubt. Thank you in advance. Eve and T. Oh my God. That is horrible. That is horrible. So, you guys, keep them in your thoughts for sure. I find it interesting that she signed it Eve and T, not Eve, Muhammad and T. But yeah, so there is that. There's that. Stage 2, and he's what? 16? Whew. Okay. So that's hard, and I'm sorry for Eve, and I hope for the best for her. Hi, Connie. Whew. Okay. This season is too long. That being said, this season is too long. And then HEA starts like the 13th of or something. It's HEA starts in August. They overlapped it with the UK. They're just really doing a lot. They just don't want us to like have a moment. They'd want us to keep that 90-day, just right there in the veins. Get the fix of the 90-day. Let's see. So today's 31st. I think the season of HEA starts on the 14th. So if I think everyone got married this season so far, right? The only people who haven't gotten married are Patrick and Thais. But everyone else got married, right? Today is the 31st. Next Sunday is the 7th, and the Sunday after that is the 14th. So they are not giving us a break, child. They are sending us straight through to HEA, which are y'all gonna watch? I feel like the moment I don't do a season, that's when something exciting happens. Okay, let's get started. Sorry to keep you guys and start on that kind of note, but that was breaking news. And yeah, let's move on to something a little bit less heavy and the silly portion of this. We can just start by talking about Even Muhammad since we're already there. Even Muhammad. So this was a really cute episode because Theron was super cute in it. And it starts off with told you I didn't take any notes, so I don't know. I think it starts off with Eve going to go get her nails done with her good Judy with the thin eyebrows. So I can definitely tell like they're like Generation X with them eyebrows. That's a Generation X over tweezed eyebrow. Now I think my eyebrows are a little thin because I'm a millennial. And so I didn't over tweeze my eyebrows when I was a young person, but they don't grow in much bigger than this. So she's with her best Judy and they're getting their nails done. And Eve is telling her friend how she is, as of that day, sure about Muhammad because things have gotten a lot better. And he proposed to her the other night. And she was worried for a second there, but this is her opportunity for a fairy tale situation. And she's going to take full advantage of it. And the Judy was like, you know what? She's in love. I've already told her everything I needed to tell her. And there's nothing more to say. I just got to be there to support my friend. And I just really hope it works out in her favor. And the truth is we all hope it works out in her favor. It does. I'm sorry about my Wi-Fi right now, you guys. I know it's a little shaky, but I think you'll be able to hear I think you're able to hear my audio, so that's good. Okay. So then the next scene we have is like a little montage where we are told that since he got on bended knees, it's been like a 2-week period or 3-week period. And he has opened himself up to Eve and Eve's way of living, mainly because his mother told him to. And so he's gone with her to yoga. He has done some other activities with her and Theron, and he's been really trying to see the world from Eve's perspective and not force her to be whatever it is that he felt his wife should be. Even, like he's not trying to make her a Muslim Egyptian woman anymore. He's accepting her for who she is. And so she's feeling great by the time they have the wedding. And we have a scene where they're in the same, I guess, bedroom of this castle house that she has booked her wedding venue as. And she's wearing a pajama set that says bride. And I mean, there was a lot of pajama sets that said bride. There was a lot of like robes that said bride. That's a big, I guess it's a big thing for brides. And she pulls out this dress and says, I mean, it's not really modest the way he would want it to be. And I'm like, it is not at all modest, Eve. Like, she doesn't produce the dress until after she's like kicked him out of the room. But I'm like, it's not at all modest, Eve. And then she puts the dress on with a little crown tiara and a veil. And she's like, I got the girls out. And I'm like, what girls? What are you seeing in the mirror versus what I see in the mirror? Thank you, Lily. I don't see any. I was just looking at this dress and I didn't see anything super excited about it. Now, I'm not a wedding dress aficionado, right? It just felt like it could have been better. It felt like it could have been cinched. She could have she could have had a little bit more shape going on. And this is me who watches RuPaul's Drag Race like every week. So I'm seeing an exaggerated female form. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm ever wearing a is this called sweetheart? I'm going to just call it strapless, like heart-shaped, like, I don't know, mermaid, I don't know, high low, I don't know. It was a lot of things going on. It was lace. It had that shape right here, but it like didn't push the girls up. There was nothing coming out of it. It was just like a shape. And then it was high. It was like a flamenco dance. It was like something high in the front, longer in the back. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. Liverpool ass. Mickey, it could have been better. It really could have been better. It could have been better. So she comes out and she feels great. So listen, if you like it, I love it, right? So her friends are worried. She has three friends there, but two of them are wearing what I would think would be like maybe bridesmaidsy kinds of dresses, because they're both wearing a dark green. They're slightly different dark greens, but they're both wearing a dark green. And they're like, listen, I'm just here for her to be here on her good day. And then we have a scene where Theron is in the room with her and she puts a suit on him and he's very excited. And then when we see her walk down the aisle, he's not wearing a suit. So immediately I was like, fraud. Oh my God. Is this refilmed? And then she adds that like once Theron had the suit on, he had it on for about like 10 minutes. And then after that, he started taking it off. So she was like, I'm just going to let him I'm just gonna let him wear what he wants to wear. So he has like a graphic tee as he's walking his mom down the aisle, and Eve is with her stepfather, and she's living out her fantasy. And then they have a moment where Muhammad goes up to her and hugs her and tells her how beautiful she is and how much he loves her. And everyone's like, Muhammad, you can't kiss her right now. And he's like, oh, so it seems pretty genuine. But after the information that I gave you guys last night about Muhammad's nefarious behaviors after said wedding, who knows? But at that time, it seems very genuine. And he and her go to the altar and he says, I don't care that Eve is not wearing Muslim, very modest dress. This is her wedding and I'm in America now. And I'm not making Eve wear outfits that don't make her happy. I mean, he didn't say that, but basically that's the sentiment. And so they exchange vows and they do like a sand ceremony where one sand is pink and one sand is blue. And I legitimately thought that it was some kind of gender reveal. I was in my mind like, did you have to use like pink and blue? But it was a whole metaphor about your lives are now sands combined, and Theron was helping them out doing it, and he was like saying things as well. And I think that the woman who was doing the officiant was like also a kind of a spiritual person too, because at the end she's like in like front of God and the spirits, like she added that little thing to it. And so I think it really made Eve happy, and it seemed like a joyous event. And then afterwards, for their their like what is it called after the ceremony party reception? It was in the castle house, in the dining room area. And I know she didn't have a lot of guests, but I'm like, did a lot of your guests go home? Because that castle house had like a dining area slash dance floor. And then they were like doing dances. One of them was like a traditional Arab dance, and just a lot of like hip shaking off rhythm. And it could just be because TLC didn't have the rights to play the actual music that they were playing. So it was just kind of weird and offbeat and like, I don't know what to do. This is what they do over there. And I'm just like, oh my God, everybody. Can we just get everybody to just like shake their hips real quick? It really isn't that big of a deal. It honestly isn't. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Quasi says these mermaid dresses will be dated in pictures years down the road. I mean, is that what it is? Also, RuPaul makes me feel that there is no reason for me to look better every day. Creative Cutie, hi, I haven't seen you in a long time. Finding out about the scandal really ruined this whole scene for me. Hi, Lise. Walk like an Egyptian. I mean, it was just like so weird. It was like, this is what they do over there. I'm just like, Eve, do you not have rhythm? What's happening? But listen, again, if this situation worked for her, it worked for me. It just wasn't that exciting for me. And I know there was like limited money and he didn't help her out with anything. And she was just trying to put this together and like, in a short amount of time. So it is what it is. But let's move on. The other wedding that we had in this episode was between Ari and Bini. And this was pretty sweet. As much mess as I talk about them, and I really hope that they didn't get married at the end of this, they led us up to a whole thing of, are we going to get married? Are we not going to get married? Are we not going to get married? Are we going to get married? I don't know. And they ended up getting married, you guys. Shocking shocker of all the shocks. So first scene we have is Ari, as they call her. So I'm just going to stop calling her Ariana or Ari because her family calls her Ari. So I'm saying her name wrong and I apologize. So Ari is Ari's father came over to the house, and Ari is at her sister's house with her mother. And so the father came to the house to help Bini get dressed. But really all I see is Bini cutting his father-in-law's hair, and then little Avi wanting to assist in the hair situation too, and then brushing his own hair. And then we see Beniam getting dressed and then getting little Avi dressed as well. I don't know exactly what the father did to support the situation. Do you guys hear that? Like banging? I don't know what happened to what he did to support the situation, but he was there in solidarity with the boys. And Avi looks so cute, and he has a little baba. I wonder if Bini speaks to Avi in Aramaic. Is that the language that he speaks? I don't know. I thought it's what he said, but it might not be. Whatever the language he speaks is, I wonder if he does or not. And I hope he does. I hope he does, because I think it would be important for Avi to be able to speak with his auntie and uncles, So Aries getting dressed at her sister's house. Her sister looks a little like a cartoon character. They showed her for like 5 seconds, and I just felt like there was baubles in her head. There was a headband. I mean, like, maybe I'm getting her mixed up with like a TikTok character, but like it was I was like, what is it? And there's, it was like they flashed her on the screen and I was like, what is this? That's her sister? And I think the truth is because remember I said a while ago that Ari's family is a bunch of people whose faces I would immediately forget. And that's exactly what happened. Just forgettable faces. Like I just don't know what they look like. They just look like people, like just like cartoon characters, like like if you're watching The Simpsons and there was like a crowd of people and you can't discern who the crowd of people are in the background, like that is just what they are. And so she is getting her makeup done and her mother's like, oh, our Ari, we didn't know you would get here and, really happy for you. And she's like, yeah, I really love my family. And mother's like, are you going to invite his sisters? Like, are they coming? Are they doing it virtually? And she's like, at first I didn't want them there virtually or in person because of the way that they treated me. But then I thought I love Benny and it would really make him happy if his sisters were there. And so they are going to be joining virtually. And so Janice is like, good. I think Janice at the end of the day is like a rational person who wants to keep the peace and who wants people to be happy, but also make the moves that they need to make, And so I've seen Ariana's makeup better. And the dress was I liked the top portion of it. I just didn't think that the bottom portion went with it. Also, she wasn't wearing heels. And we've seen her wear heels before. She chose to wear sparkly platform sneakers. And listen, Serena Williams wore Chucks to her wedding. So I'm not judging it for that. I'm not judging it at all, actually. It's just like she's a tiny person and it was just like interesting. It was an interesting choice I was not expecting. But overall, I think that when Ari puts herself together, like when she was at that boxing match, I think Ari has given us some good outfits this season. She's given us some good faces this season. So it was just interesting to me that this wasn't the culmination of her looks this season. Okay. I love the matching set when she tried to go off in the gym. I loved the pleather outfit when she went to breakfast to the international pancake place and didn't get any pancakes. I loved her outfit at his game. She's given us some looks this season. I'm not gonna shade her. She's trying and I see it. I see her. That's all I ever want to see is a cast member try. And but yeah, this one didn't wow me. But anyways, doesn't matter. So turns out that Benny low-key had an issue with the fact that it was a Jewish wedding because he's Christian. And these things just don't. I'm trying to think of what kind of Christian I was, honestly. I think I was the kind of Christian who didn't want to other people who believed in a monotheistic God. And so like both with Islam and with Judaism, I don't ever remember feeling a thing of like, oh, if I were to marry somebody, I can't marry somebody of that faith. And if I did, I would not want to get married their way. It was just never me. It was never me. But maybe it's because I grew up in the States where I've seen a lot of different cultures and a lot of different religions. And I am open to it all. I was always open to it. Like I was open to it all. So anyways, I also wanted to be like, but that Jesus was a Jew. Just like little stuff like that. Anyways, so like if Jesus were to have got married, he would have got married that way. So anyways, at least like I said, that's the way I thought. So he was like, but the caveat was that we get married in the Jewish fashion, but Avi is going to be baptized or was baptized in the like Ethiopian Orthodox or Christian way. And then we are reminded of that baptism where she was acting like she was in a cave surrounded by shaman who were like fanning unknown foliage in her face. Like they put the Bible up to her face and she was like, now I get that it might have been shocking her. She wasn't expecting it, but the way she was behaving was like, this was some kind of, as Chris would say, misty woo-woo craziness that she had never even envisioned in her mind. And it just could be her her not ever coming out of her, community and religious wise and not really understanding what it was going to be. But it's just so interesting. It's just so interesting. So we were reminded that the baby was baptized Christian, and so therefore this was the exchange, the compromise. And so Bini has a very, very positive outlook about it. He seemed very happy to be doing this. I liked the jacket and I liked the bow tie. I don't know if I loved them together, but I didn't think it was bad. He's at the end of the altar, and that's not the altar. I don't know what the name of it is, but it's the like canopy that had the Ethiopian material and the material of Ari's grandmother on it. And he's waiting and he's nervous because he said, like, this is it. This is finally the thing that I've wanted. So I can get green card, and and he can bring his family together and he can be happy. And they exchange vows in which he brings up his previous wife and marriage. And I was like, but it wasn't bad. People enjoyed the story, I suppose. And I think he sees her and he, says that she's beautiful and is just excited. And the ceremony happens and he smashes I think they wrap glass of something. I don't know if it's a cup. I'm not sure what it is, in a napkin, and they put it on the ground and they stomp on it. And then, like, I think usually people go Mazel Tov. And he stomped on it and it didn't seem like he broke it. And then he tried to pick it up and they were like, no, you don't pick it up. And I thought that was really cute because, like, the fact is, I've honestly never been to a Jewish wedding, but I know I've seen them, like, on TV, and I've seen them, and so it's so interesting that he's never seen it, that he honestly was like, oh, I broke this thing and now I'll pick it up. So yeah. So anyways, it was a cute ceremony. And then afterwards, it looks like they got a babysitter for Avi, and they exit the temple and he picks her up and twirls her around and she's like giggling. And I thought, oh my God, will I ever find a man tall enough and strong enough to pick me up and twirl me around? Who knows? Probably never. But, like, what a nice feeling to be little. Not to be little, but to be little. What a nice feeling to just have somebody just raise you up and just like twirl you around. Good for her. Then he put her into their Uber XL and they went off into the sunset. And listen, as much as these two probably shouldn't be married, again, it's none of my business. They put it on TV for us to see, and I watched it and I'm fine with it. Listen, if you love it, if you like it, I love it. I love it. What are you guys saying? Liverpool says that she married a Muslim man and it did not work out. Basically what he said in this one is like, right when I had my other family taken from me, I met Ari on the streets, and it made me so happy to have another family again. It's just like, Jesus, Lord, Jesus, stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. Okay. I think that's it that we all have to say about them. I don't know why I'm looking at this. I didn't take notes. You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. Okay. And I'm telling everybody. All right. Next couple that we are going to talk. Who else got married? Oh, no one else. Oh, no one else got married. Oh my God. We still have. Why did I think everybody got married this episode? Only 2 people got married. Okay. Well, let's go on to the people who are in the final stages of their marriage, before they get married. Let's move on to Kobe and Emily. And I'm going to just say congratulations to Emily because this is the first episode that she was in where she wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. So we're moving in the right direction. So this is the episode of the rehearsal dinner. I'm trying to think if something happened before the rehearsal dinner besides her trying on the dress. I can't think of it. So it's maybe like 2 days, a day before the wedding. And we find out that Kobe has brought from Cameroon some traditional grassland garments. and they're very colorful. They seem like they're knitted, some kind of like fun knit. And he has brought this for his father-in-law, and he has brought it for her. He's brought it for the baby, and I believe his mother-in-law as well. And she's trying on the dress because she's not certain she's going to be able to fit it because she's pregnant. Now, I don't know how far along she is pregnant. I assume she was only like 6 weeks pregnant. So I don't know that she would be showing that much. But she tries on the dress and she's like, "Ooh, when I sit down, it's really, really tight." And he's like, she's like, people are gonna know. I hope nobody can tell or thinks that I'm pregnant. And he's like, "Well, why don't we just tell them?" And she's like, "No, Kobe, we're not gonna tell them and ruin it." And honestly, I agree with her. I think that she would upset her family if she told them she was pregnant right before they finished paying all this money. I think that it would put a damper on it. Now, I'm not saying that it's right, but I think that it's right for this moment. And so she's like, "Please, Kobe, please do not tell them. Please, please, it's not right." And he's like, he's a little frustrated because he's like, "I don't want to feel like I'm lying underneath your father's roof, figuratively and like, no. Actually, because I am lying. I lay in the bed underneath your father's roof all the time, but I don't want to lie to him." And so he goes and agrees that he's not going to say anything. And she's just like, "It's just going to put a damper on everything, and I don't want to do that to my family right now. Okay, I just want to get through this." And then she also has devises a plan to where she's gonna buy non-alcoholic beer, like O'Doul's, and then also buy regular beer, like Heineken, and she will drink the O'Doul's, and he will drink the Heineken just so that people think she's drinking alcohol. And I thought to myself, who is going to be clocking that you're not drinking alcohol? Also, if there's a toast, you won't have some champagne? Like, it's not like you're getting drunk. You're just like, you wouldn't just toast and sip some champagne and then put it down and get busy running around after your baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just didn't know that buying O'Doul's would be the way to go about it. Um, you know, I mean, I guess like I'm not somebody who forces somebody to drink. Like, I don't pay attention to if people are drinking and ask them why they're not. And like that culture that we have in the States, and I don't know if it's anywhere else, but in the States we definitely have a culture of like, have a beer, have a drink, go on ahead. And it's like, I don't want to. Why not? Because I don't want to. So it's never a thing for me. So to know that she actively has to trick her family into believing that she is drinking in order for them to, I don't know, not ask her any questions about it is weird. Like, what if she just and then, I don't know, girl, like, I just like, what if she just wanted to have punch the whole night? So we get to the rehearsal dinner at grandma's house, and the family is dressed in the garments that he has brought, and it's really quite sweet. And her Salinas family and the family from wherever else in the middle of the country could just have so many questions. And I feel for Kobe in this moment as a Black person. I mean, it's different for him because he is a complete foreigner. Like, this is his first time in the US, and so he's probably expecting a certain amount of questions. But as somebody who just wears a head wrap most days when out in a boot, who get asked by people who are surrounded by other Black people, or when I wear a wig and my coworkers are like mildly confused about the wig, and I'm just like, "Oh, y'all, okay, cool. I'm gonna have to answer this question." And a lot of times people don't ask me; they just go, "Oh, I really like your hair," and I'm like, "This is not hair. This is some fabric. You mean my head wrap? Or I really like your turban. Oh, you mean my head wrap?" Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, I really like that." I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm glad. Happy for you. I'm happy for you that you like it." It's just so interesting, and I'm like, what are people supposed to say? Like, am I too hard on folk? And I really like feel like, I guess I just always know that it's a head wrap, or I would say, "I really like your scarf." I was like, I love the pattern in that scarf, is what I would say. Because I really like your head wrap. Sounds like you just really like the fact that I do something different with my hair than you, and you just like it aesthetically. Whereas you feel like I like the pattern of your head wrap, like it's beautiful, like, you know, like, oh, that's fun. These are beautiful colors. Love that way they mix. It makes it seem as though you've actually seen somebody with it before. But when you're acting like you've never seen it on my head, like you acting like you've never seen a turban, I'm like, did you not watch any movies like from the 50s? Because women were wearing turbans in these movies, like Vanity. Like I'm sure there's a Joan Crawford moment, or like a not Joan Crawford, the person Joan Crawford played in Mommy Dearest. What's her name? There's not a Marlena Dietrich or like Betty Davis moment where they've got a turban on. Like, you know, women have been wearing turbans on their head for a minute. So anyways, they're all like, oh, this is great. And the dad's just like, yeah, you're so, and they're like probably like touching it because they know it's not on Kobe. So they can go up to the dad and like paw him to like feel the fabric. And so Kobe's just like excited that, you know, everyone's asking him questions and talking to him. She's schmoozing. He's talking to other people, getting to know them. He's being really social, which is like, it would be my nightmare. Cruella had a turban. That's what I'm saying. People have turbans. Like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. It's fine. And so she pulls him aside and she's like, I need some fresh air. And so he goes out with her. And I don't know what producer put her up to this, but they have a conversation in which she says, okay, so Kobe, you don't have any like qualms or issues. Like, you're fully ready to go and get married in 3 days. And he's like, why? Do you have doubts? Like, or do you think I'm here for some other reason than to be with you? And she's like, well, you know, I mean, there's just a lot going on, and I just want to make sure that you're sure about this and that, you know, you don't have any issues. And I think what she's trying to do is kind of just air out any things that he might be harboring or any issues that he might have, and she wants to air them out. And I think he sees this as her trying to sort of back out a little bit or question his motives a little bit. And so he gets offended. He feels insulted that at this moment, she's all of a sudden asking him if he's sure. And I see where she's coming from. I don't think she's horrible. And also, I appreciate the fact that when he responds in the way that he does, she just sits there and listens to him. She makes a face or two, like, but she doesn't say anything to him. She lets him get up and walk away from her. And I was like, thank you, Emily, for not being horrible, because I really, really felt like she was going to tell him to shut up, and that's not what she meant. Because earlier in the season, like earlier in the episode, he was standing by the mirror and she's like, move, in order for him to get out of the way so she could look at herself in the mirror. And I just am like, you're rude. You're rude. And I know that, you know, sometimes you treat people that you love the worst, but those people that you treat the most are those people are usually your siblings or your parents, right? Like, they just met each other. She should still be nice to him. And so they leave with an awkward moment. And she's left outside, like kind of pondering, I guess, what just happened. And I don't think he was wrong for feeling the way he felt. I just think they were having a miscommunication in that moment. I think that for him, he feels like he has done everything to prove to her that he is here for her and the baby and their family, that he has made a choice. And I think that's something that culturally, and I don't know because I don't know the Cameroonian culture, I can only speak for the American side of it, is that culturally, Americans tend to think of marriage as like something that must be entered into with copious amounts of love. And I think that that is not necessarily true for other people's. Some people just make a decision that they want to eke out an existence with this person, come hell or high water. There are a couple of things that are unforgivable, but most things are not. They have made a choice to spend the rest of their life with this person. And so to ask them 3 days before the wedding if they're sure would feel a little like backsliding. It would feel weird. to ask at the last moment, are you sure you want to do this? He's like, no, I made the commitment when I boarded the plane and came to the United States. In fact, I made the commitment before that. I made the commitment to you when you went back to the US and I went back to Cameroon and I continued to speak to you. Because honestly, like, what was she going to do? Fly to Cameroon? Like, what was she going to do? When you guys live in different countries, a man can easily just slip away into nothingness. And we're seeing this in Love in Paradise with Ariana and Sherlon. Like, there is already this idea that, you know, men don't have to like really take care of their kids. It's truly the woman's job. So the fact that he like continued to talk to you and was really excited about the son being born and all of these different things, like it was him showing you that he was committed to you. Even when he got here and you were rude to him and you badgered him and you wouldn't let him see his son first, then you like went and bought your own wedding ring, and then you like wouldn't even let him, like, you don't even let him like hold the baby. Like, you don't, it's like she was horrible to him, and he pushed through. He didn't take his $4,000 and get on a flight back home. So he's like, no, I am in this. I am in this. So don't question me now. Don't tell me now that you have doubts. You needed to have made the choice that you and I were going to get married a year ago. So anyways, there's that. Lily says, I haven't seen tonight's episode, but Kobe seems sweet and thoughtful, saving $4K to move out to bringing his culture to integrate into the family. I agree. I'm actually really excited that Emily allows the baby to wear African garb. Like, I just don't trust her. Like, I don't trust her. The way she reacted when she was like, you're a prince and you have no money? Like, just everything about her, like, abrasiveness. But like, for whatever reason, Kobe finds that underneath all of that is a very sweet human being that he would like to carve out a life with. He must find something great about her. And for her to, yeah, so I understand why they both had that miscommunication. If I'm correct about how he's thinking about marriage, how he's made the decision to be devoted to her, then it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me, the miscommunication. So that is the end of their segment. We have Kobe walking away upset and feeling insulted. Next couple that we are going to talk about are Bilal and Shaeeda. So in this episode, we have Bilal walking in and hanging out with her daughter, who's rocking rough and stuffs with her Afro puffs. And they have a cute little moment where the daughter basically says, yeah, I'm getting used to Shaeeda being here. It's definitely weird in the beginning, but honestly, Dad, as long as you're happy, I'm happy. And he goes, thank you, baby. And it's a really cute moment. Then we move to a scene where we see Shaeeda just aggressively shining and cleaning things. And we're like, what is she doing? Like, did she mess up the living room? And now Bilal is making her clean off the table and literally dust every article of like knick-knackery that's on it. And it turns out that they have decided that they're going to have the wedding at the house. And she feels like it's a good choice, that it's really less drama, and it works for her. Meanwhile, her sister-in-law, Nefertari, is upstairs with the wedding dress, and she can't wait for it to be revealed to her. And so we were given this scene in the previews. So Nefertari calls her upstairs, and she walks up the steps and tells her to close her eyes. She closes her eyes, and then she opens it up, and she sees this dress that she absolutely hates. And she's like, oh, and the sister's like, oh my God, yeah, don't you like it? And she's like, this is not what we talked about, Nefertari. And so she's thinking, like, you said that you were a fashion designer. A fashion designer for who? Marms of America? Modest marms of America? Like, who is wearing this dress? And the sister says, well, you know, we didn't want it too tight because we want you to be modest. And she's like, well, yeah, it was still going to be modest. I still wanted it to be sexy modest. I still wanted it to be form-fitting to a certain extent. Like, it's not going to be like skin tight, but like, I wear modest clothes that don't necessarily show off my body, but they're still slim. It's a slim cut. And the woman's like, well, let me just go get the veil. Let me see how you like it with the veil. So she goes in there and suspiciously closes the door all the way. Then she is coming back out with it, and she like cracks the door open and is like, Shaeeda, close your eyes one more time. And so Shaeeda does, and she reveals this beautiful dress of what Shaeeda had asked for. And Shaeeda's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you guys in this family? Why do you guys love to do pranks? Like, I hate that. Like, just stop that. And they're like, haha, we just wanted to see. And she's like, well, I hope that that dress that you showed me didn't have any sentimental value. And she's like, it did, but don't worry. And I'm like, and Shaeeda's like, you guys need to stop pranking me with things that have sentimental value because I don't want to insult you. And she's like, it's, la, 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 la. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is wrong with these people? Like, really, 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 everyone, what is wrong with this family? What is their thing with pranks? So they have nothing else exciting happening in their world that they just need to prank each other? It just doesn't make any sense. So she then is very happy about the dress and hugs her and is like emotional. And we have another scene where Shaeeda's sisters are there. And lo and behold, Shaeeda has two sisters that are studying in the United States. And so then again, this is where we get the conversation where Shaeeda is not just some little, Trinidadian girl on a banana boat that he just picked up. The fact that she has sisters who are studying abroad is a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, I don't know. For in the US, for an American person to go study abroad is a big deal. And so I'm assuming anybody who comes from any country to study outside of it, is a big deal. There's some kind of like privilege or affluence that I usually connect with that. There could not be. Nobody freak out on me in the comments after, about it. But like, it's a nice opportunity to be able to have in your life. And if for two of your sisters to be able to do something like that, is good. It's a nice, like, not necessarily good, but it's interesting. So those sisters come, but the parents cannot come because the borders have been closed due to COVID-19. And they go get their pedicures done. And it's so funny because like when I get my pedicures done, I'm like, woo, get like, I have my pants leg all the way up. Now she only had her pants leg. I hate showing my feet. She only had her pants leg like up to her ankles. She was like really about that modest life. I was like, she's like, yes, you can do my feet and my ankles. That's it. And so she then and her sisters are talking about how American men just think they know everything, and how the sisters like, I've been on one date with an American man and it was sheesh. And I'm like, did you only say one date because you don't want to let everybody know that you're out here in these streets? I mean, I'm not saying that she is. It was just interesting. And she says that I guess she said that they have a lot of bragging energy. And one other thing that she said about American men, and I'm like, I'm not here to defend American men or any men. And so they're just like, watch out for Bilal, make sure that you have a voice. And then Shay ends up saying that Bilal is an alpha male. I just don't enjoy when that term is just bandied about. Bilal is an alpha male who needs to have things a certain way. And I'm like, what exactly is an alpha male? Because maybe I don't know what that is. Maybe I don't know what it is. Alpha males don't prank. Maybe I just don't know what it is, honestly, because I just say that word gets just thrown about. So I think that's the end of the segment. I think that's the end of their segment, is that she's just having conversation. They're like, we don't like the prenup thing. And I just am like, I agree. I like the fact that she asked for what she asked for in the prenup. But also, I think that when you're of a certain age and you have assets, prenups make sense to me. And you guys know I've said this before. So there's that. But the sisters are going to be there to support her, and I really like the fact that she has family members there to support her because that's important. All right, let's move on to the next couple. Let's talk about Jibri and Miona. So, in their segment in this episode, they are 1 hour away from Joshua Tree. It is raining, and Miona is worried that it's going to rain on her wedding day. And they get to the Airbnb. Grandma gets to the Airbnb. Miona loves the Airbnb. Grandma is very excited to officiate the wedding. And Jibri has a conversation with his mother over Skype. I said Skype, that sounded so old. Like, do people even Skype anymore? It's all about like FaceTime or Zoom, right? So, or like WhatsApp video chat. So, anyways, they video chat, and mom is like, I really am sad, I'm gonna miss it. And he's like, well, I could just buy you a ticket real quick and you can get here. And she's like, no, I can't. And it's still unclear why. It's like, is it truly because you believe he's making a bad choice, so you're not going to show up? Or is it truly because you couldn't take the time off? Like, I guess she's a therapist and she has patience, but like, you don't got no PTO? Are you really not going because you feel like he didn't give you enough time to, like, what, save up money? He didn't get, and she's like, it hurts me that I can't be there, Jibri. As your mother, somebody who has, even though you've lived far from me, I've not ever felt distanced from you. And in this moment, I feel distanced from you because of what sounds like because of Miona. And then I was like, Mihaela needs, I mean, I know she knows how to explain herself because of being a therapist, but why is like Miona's presence somehow stopping Jibri? Like, she knows Jibri makes poor choices, but you guys, it's a little different of a situation when your 18-year-old chooses to run off and get married, and you, I guess, on principle decide not to go or not to support them in it, and so you don't pay for anything because you're like, listen, if you're going to act like an adult and do what you want, then be an adult and do what you want. But it's a whole other thing when your 28-year-old chooses to get married, because you can hold their age against them truly and say, you are 28 years old. I'm here to support you. I don't support this. I'm here to support you because I'm not going to get this opportunity ever again. So I should make the chance to be here, even if I'm not super excited about it, because it's a milestone. And she talks about how she's going to miss this milestone. And she talks about how, like, that they're really close, her and Jibri, even if they've been, far apart. And like, he's like offering to pay her flight. Come on, mama, come over. And she's like, I can't. And it's like, based on what? On some principle? You're not, it's just not a petulant. I mean, he's petulant, he's probably petty, and he's like, whatever. But like, at this ripe old age, you literally could, you could just go and be like, I'm here to support you. Your mother is going. It just doesn't feel right that you're holding out on this because of Miona. What if this is his only wedding? And you've missed out on this milestone because you were trying to prove some kind of point. And what is that point? I don't like that you've chosen someone who I don't think puts you first. And then he asks for her blessing, and she says, like, I can't give you a blessing on the wedding, but I give you a blessing on your happiness or something. I didn't take notes, but like, it's like she's like, I mean, really against it. It's just, this is hilarious. Liverpool last. I don't like Debri's mom. Did you accidentally spell it wrong, or are you being purposefully with that? That's funny. I'll be a replay gang member. Thanks, Ramsterdam. Amber Franklin says, if she was going to act like that, she should have never let them stay in her house in the first place. I mean, yeah, I guess. Hi, Mass Cat. Thank you so much. I just don't know. Did anyone watch the episode? Quasi, do you remember? Mickey, do you remember like what she said? Like, no, I won't give you my. I don't know. Let me tell you, I remember it vividly. She said it because I was biting into a bagel breakfast sandwich as it was happening. Does anyone remember exactly what she says? Our adult children deserve our support, even if we do not agree with everything they choose. Yeah, I mean, because you're never gonna get this thing again. You're never gonna get the opportunity again. Like, I get the desire to hold out because you don't want to support bad behavior, but that's only, I think, when you're dealing with like a teenager or a very early 20 something person. But even then, like, what if you end up having pie in your face? Like, what if Jibri and Miona end up working through a lot of their issues? Because I don't think the issues that they have are not workable. And it's not like she hates Miona. She just thinks they need to wait to get married. But I guess I'm like, grown people are gonna do things that grown people want to do. So even if you don't agree with his choice, like at you just have to make a choice to let go. You can put your foot down and say, you know what, I'm not going to financially support you because you're making a lot of asinine decisions. So if you need money to get bailed out of prison, I'm not going to do that for you because I'm telling you to stop committing crimes. But like, as long as it's not costing you like money to do, I mean, a plane ticket is going to cost you money, but like, if you were marrying somebody you liked, you would have paid it. So like, really, what's the problem? I know you think it's a bad decision, but you're not being asked to pay for anything, so just go. She gave her blessing with zero enthusiasm. Yes, Jabri's mother gave her blessing reluctantly. Is that what she said though? But she said something. She said it's almost like she says, "I don't give my blessing to the union, but I give my blessing to you having a happy day," or something. It felt like that. Maybe I'm thinking, getting my information mixed. But like, I don't know. It just felt weird. As an adult, you can't expect support if your loved ones are against it. You walk the road without them until they come around. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to give him money to do it, but you don't also have to just not be there. It's going to start off the marriage wrong, on the wrong foot. What happens if they have kids? Like, also, what happens if they make it? What happens if they make it and Jibri and Miona overcome their issues and they go to therapy, or they're young. So right now this is like young stuff. But like, what if, 5, 7 years down the road, they learn to communicate, and because Jibri is a good communicator, y'all. Like, Jibri is a good communicator because his mother is a therapist and she's a communicator. Miona may not be the best communicator, but she knows how to say what it is that she wants. And so far, we've seen her make concessions. Like, we've seen her be spoiled and like want the things that she wants, but we've also seen her make concessions. So like, I don't think she's a completely irrational person. So it's like, they do have the potential of eventually getting to a good place. And I maybe it's because Mahalia is in it and she can't see it the way we're saying it. We're seeing it because we're seeing it from like a bird's eye view. So we're able to see the moving pieces. And this is also heavily produced, right? So it's like, maybe we are coming from a perspective of people who are not close to the situation and have perspective. But I just think that if the shit works out and they're together and there's wedding photos, there will not be a wedding photo of Granny Mahalia in it. It will be a wedding photo of Great Granny in it, and then Mahalia didn't show up. I mean, maybe she'll soften her heart by the time that they have the wedding reception where Miona's family can be in town to be a part of it. Maybe. Now, that being said, I went to Miona's mionabeauty.com or Miona Beauty on Instagram, and she's right now selling brushes. So she's gotten like her brand off the ground. And I really hope that it's quality, because Miona seems like the type of person that's a really pays good attention to detail, and I don't think she would skimp out on anything. I think that she would like test the brushes herself, make sure that they're good products so that she could sell a good product. The next thing that she has is ponytails. And it's so cute because she's like, she's talking about the ponytails and doing like little tutorials on how to do the ponytails. And she's explaining the colors. And she's like, this one is 1B. And I'm like, every Black girl knows what 1B is, right? Like there's 1 and then there's 1B. Like nobody gets 1 anymore, right? Because we're just like, nobody has like black hair. So there's 1B. And then there's like 4. And it's just like she's like talking about it, and I'm like, these are colors that I am, as a Black woman, very familiar with. And she's showing how to do it, and the imprint, or like the logo, is a woman with a high pony and like a curly fall. And I was just like, if I didn't know that this was Miona, I would 100% think that this was a Black brand. And it's not, I listen, I'm not going to villainize her for this, because I'm not going to say that she's trying to pose. I'm not trying to say that she's trying to pose. I'm saying that in the US, with the way that marketing happens and the way that labels look, I would assume that that was a Black brand. Just because the hair is curly in it. And like in the States, like when you're marketing the Black people, usually the hair is curly. Okay, y'all are saying it. Y'all are saying it. I didn't say 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 it now. I didn't say it. Jessie Lee says I'm a 1B/2 LOL. And then Rashana says I'm a 2 and 4. Exactly. We all know what color of hair we get. It's so funny. But if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, just go to Instagram and look up Miona Beauty. And look at them, look at that logo. Look at that logo. And I'm not saying that it's just muy interesante is really just what I'm saying. So anywho, there's that. What? Miona is aligning herself with Black women because they will support her interracial relationship. Mahalia says that she doesn't approve of how it came about, but she supports him in his decision now. Ah, that's what it is. But also, did he not ask? He didn't ask her that. He didn't say. He said, "Do I have your blessing?" And she's like, "I don't approve of how it came about, but I wait. So what is your blessing on this union have to do with your approval on the way it happened? Nothing." Miona is using high pair magazines for aesthetics. Wow. Things are very different in the US. And, sometimes there's issues that you have to overcome. But here's the truth. This girl's going to make money regardless if we call her out or not. I'm going to still call her out, but she's going to make money regardless. So, anywho, I do wish the best for them because I don't want them to be broke and like frustrated. Who wants that for anyone? Not me. All right. Last couple that we are going to talk about is Patrick and Thais. So, y'all, this season is too long, and Patrick and Thais have been an absolute waste of time for me. I love the fact that I think I'm going to have it. I am going to have to choose 2 couples to not talk about, and I should have never spoken about Patrick and Thais. So I'm just going to culminate this. I'm just going to say it in like a couple sentences. Who cares? That's sentence number 1. Sentence number 2 is they've left Massachusetts. They've gone to Florida, and they're in Miami or something. They're not in Orlando, which is where I believe they're getting married. They're in another Floridian state. City. And his friends have decided that they are going to take him out on a yacht as a wedding present. And Thais is upset because she hasn't had a time to just chill with him. They've just been on the go. She says that she has been to Dallas, Austin, Vegas, Massachusetts, and Florida since she's been in the US, and he has not asked her if she wanted to go to any of those places. She says that before that, she's never even like left her town. And all of a sudden she's like globetrotting and just like following this man behind, and she's not with it. And she would like to just spend one day with him, but of course he's made plans for them to go on a yacht. And Patrick is like, who doesn't want to go on a yacht? Like, why wouldn't you want to go on a yacht? I don't get it. And like, I get it to a certain extent. Like, I get it. I mean, listen, I'm somebody who wants all the experiences, but like spaced out. And if I didn't have any way of driving, if I didn't have any friends, if I, if there was a situation where I was very isolated and my husband was the only person that was making decisions for me, and some of the decisions wouldn't have been decisions that I would have made, then yeah, I might be a little annoyed. So we meet these friends, and Lord of mercy, it's giving nouveau riche. It's giving Guido. It's giving, gym tan laundry. It's just giving like Gucci, Gucci, Gucci. It's just giving a lot of like, I'm new money. I'm a little tacky. And she gets on this boat. She ends up telling one of the ladies there she doesn't want to know if she wants to marry Patrick. They're all like, Patrick was so hurt from his divorce. He was so hurt. Don't break his heart. Break up with him now. Don't marry him, or don't, whatever. And so then she's like, I do love her hair. Is that her natural hair texture? And this entire time she's been straightening it? Mommy, don't straighten your hair again. Like, we should straighten your hair every 2 months. If this is her natural texture, it is beautiful. That is what I want to see her. I just thought it was so lovely. So that happens. And then they have dinner like the next day or later that day or something. Meanwhile, on the yacht, Patrick is having an amazing time and Thais is not having the best of times. So then they go back to the hotel, I believe, and then he wants to kind of squash things with the dad. And so he wants to officially ask for the dad's blessing. And this is the most gangsta, cold-hearted shit I've seen in a 90 Day Fiancé in a long time. Okay? Carlos is the MVP of this episode. Patrick calls that man and asks that man for his daughter's hand in marriage, and he straight up says no. He says no. Go marry an American. Send my daughter back to me. This is not a good idea. Thais, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come home. Okay, you can't. No. And Patrick was like, face gobbed, smacked, didn't know what to say. Patrick was tooken, shooketh, abacketh, shaky, dicky. Like, he was not expecting this man to say no. And this man said, no, you can never have my daughter. I do not give my blessings to this shit. You're not going to snatch my daughter up from underneath me. Send her ass back home. And Patrick is like, oh, I just honestly didn't think that. And Thais is like, I bloody told you. No, you didn't think that because you're controlling and you don't listen to me. I told you Carlos was going to say no. And Thais doesn't even say anything. She just sits back and she just lets Patrick like get pie in his face. And he's like, send her back. You treat how you don't know. No. Send her back. So they go to dinner, and then Patrick is like, are you sure about the marriage? And she's like, I don't know. You keep being controlling, and I don't want that life. And so she threatens to go home again, and he kind of is over the threats. He's kind of over it, and he's just like, well, then we shouldn't get married then. And there's just like a lot of looking at each other and saying, I don't know. And I'm like, then please don't get married. Patrick, be the adult in this. Like, be the one to say, no, I don't want to marry somebody who isn't sure of whether or not she wants to marry me. Don't be the guy that's like, she's so hot. I really want her to be my wife because she's so hot. And then he marries somebody and makes her unhappy. If Patrick can just do what he needs to do and go get therapy, send Thais back home, send her back home to her dad. You don't want that bad blood. You don't want that bad blood that you asked a man. I mean, you asked him, he said no. So like, send her home. Like, honestly. Yeah, it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. And I don't know how much of it is produced, but it's just boring. Who cares? Boring, who cares? So, anyways, that's all I'm gonna say about them. I can't. We have one more week. We have next week, August 7th. I don't know if there's gonna be a tell-all. I don't know if it's gonna be like a cliffhanger and we're gonna find out when we meet Sean Robinson next. Oh, actually, you know what, you guys? I don't know if they're gonna do what they did with one of the seasons where the first hour is a wrap-up of the season and the second hour is the tell-all. But we get like a little bit of footage from next episode. So next episode is an episode because Bilal and Shaeeda need to get married, and Kobe and whatever her name is need to get married, and like 3 other couples need to get bloody married. Or bloody married. One's a drink and one's just like an expression of, whatever. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, in the middle of the day. It's 5:30 already, Lord. But we did it. And for those of you who are on the East Coast, this is your Sunday night. I hope you're enjoying it. And I hope that I was able to entertain you. And really, that is it. What do you guys think? Anything that's interesting? Patrick is shallow. Look at what he did to himself being a bodybuilder. Jamila says that Thais is annoying. She had controlled this narrative and lies repeatedly, yet accuses him of controlling with her vacations. Thais shouldn't have lied to her dad. That made it all the worse. Remember, Thais is 25, is raised by her dad and is living at home. So emotionally, she's like 21. I didn't know she lived with her dad. I thought that her dad lived like down the street and she lived with her grandmother and her mother. That is what I got from that. I thought at the end they would have a good convo, but they talked about the real reason Carlos had an issue. That they would talk about the real reason Carlos had the issue. Carlo never smiled. He was serious. Once again, as we ride up his nose. I don't know what that means. I think her hair is super curly and she relaxes it. No, Wah. That is a mermaid hair too. What's mermaid hair? Like a clip-in? Oh, that is the thing that she says. She wants John to move out immediately after they get married, which I just think is nonsense. Like, why doesn't he just tell her John doesn't have the money to move out yet? He's going to need 3 weeks to get, 3 months to get the money together. Why doesn't she just explain to him that, like, he drinks all of his money away? He doesn't have any savings and he can't just move out the moment they get married. And that's not fair. Anyways, that's the end of it, you guys. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. And I hope that you guys have a fantastic evening and a fantastic week. I have to watch 90 Day Fiancé UK. And I also have to watch Seeking Sister Wives tomorrow. So I can't do the Family Chantel girl. It's too much. I don't want to watch Pedro and Chantel break up. It's just annoying. And I'll probably do a recap for the whole series. Please, if you guys have not already, go to wherever you listen to podcasts and support us with DocuSweeties and give us a follow. But more so than anything, please go and listen to a couple of our episodes. Just let them play. Subscribe to DocuSweeties. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to DocuSweeties podcasts on Google, on everywhere there's podcasts, honestly. Like a lot of podcast things. There's Spotify, there's Google Play, there's Apple. So if you have an iPhone, I did this yesterday and showed people how to do so. I'm supposed to go to dinner right now. Hold on. Let me just tell my cousin I can't. Okay. So, oh yeah, I was going to show you how to do it. So if you have an iPhone, just go to the little podcast. How can I make you see that? The little podcast thing. You can also just search podcast up here and it'll pop up. So you go into your podcasts and with the little search, you're going to search DocuSweeties. And when you do that, this will pop up. And Hello, everyone. My name is Wah. Let's do it again. We're your Hello, everyone. My name is Wah. And I'm Chris. And we're longtime friends that discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yep, so we made a podcast called Docu-Sweeties, which is, our lens of watching these people live their lives. And sometimes that lens is marred with a little saltiness, but at the end of the day, we hope, is mildly sweet.
All right, so there's that, you guys. Please subscribe if you have not. Give us a listen. And everybody around the world and the international community here in the United States, have a fantastic week. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. We're your sweet